So I wanted to share with you a hack that I came up with years ago that will help you to be like a superhero on ice, because you still need to get around, and falling down on the ice is man, it can be really dangerous. You can get really hurt. So there's still jobs that need to be done here in the homestead. I'm going back and forth, and I came out today and I almost wiped out. So I'm going to take you in the shop and show you my ice cleat, my boot ice cleat hack. I want to show you just how bad it is. This is the driveway, and maybe you can see there, I can focus on there, everything is covered by a ½ inch of ice. And what makes it bad, this is the worst possible driving conditions in the entire world, because it freezes hard because the ground is cold and it's raining, and now you have a layer of water on the top. It's absolutely treacherous, and it continues to melt and to build up, and you're just stuck. You can't go anywhere with it. I'm going to demonstrate just how difficult it is just to try to walk up a slope. You can see with just normal like rubber boots on. That's how slippery it is. Let's go fix that. All right, are you ready for the hack? It's simple. You need 12 of these little screws right here, these 1/4 inch. They take a regular screw, the little machine screw, little panel screws, I forget the name of them, but you have to have this one. You can get these at any hardware store. It's a 1/4 inch socket will fit it, or a flat bladed screwdriver. Now that's the important part right there. You don't want to overlook. You can get them like this one right here. That's not the right one. I don't know how that slipped in there. But you want the ones that have the little flat slot for the screwdriver, because they have a little ridge around the outside of them, and they've got more surface area, and those little ridges in that portion that sticks up proud, it really bites. So you want 12 of these, and the configuration is really important too. And this, I've tried all different ways of doing it, and this is what seems to work best. You're going to put 2 up front. Right, 2 up front towards the toe. Now look at your shoes. Look at some shoes maybe that you have that have been worn down, that you've worn for some time, and kind of take a look and see where are the wear marks on them. You know, if you pronate or do different things or have a bit of a different gait, you can use that to kind of adjust it. And the heavy wear areas, that's where you want to put these screws in here for the best traction, and that way you're not putting in some portion of the shoe where you don't put any weight, so that will help you. So you want 4 up front, 2 on the front right there. That's where when you're bending your toe in, where you're getting your grip, that's where you start start your foot, your tread, and then as you rock back here, you'll put 2 here on the outsides, right about the ball of your foot is a good spot. Now over here on the back side, then you take the remaining ones and you do 2 on the heel, back here on the outsides. Now that will help your feet from coming out from underneath of you when you're slipping, or when you're going downhill. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to put a 3rd one right there. I just haven't found it necessary. 6 screws, 12 total, 6 in each boot is perfect. Now don't go inside the house with these. You tread on your wife's new wooden floor, and she won't be happy. So I recommend doing this to a boot that is a slip-on type of a boot, like these hateful muck boots or Ugg boots, or whatever they call these things. They're fine boots. They're really handy. They're waterproof, and they're super popular with people that live in the country. And I understand that's why I use them. I just don't care for the fit. I don't like a boot that flops around, you know, the fireman boot style of. I like a good fitting boot, but it's such a drag to undo all the laces and all that. So something like this, you can do this to your Romeos or whatever. They'll last about 2 seasons, and if one falls out, you screw one in, not a big deal, and you can take them out really simple for the summertime. These seem to last really good. So that's the configuration. Let's take it outside and see how it goes. Are you ready to see the difference? All right, check it out. Same ice. Uphill, downhill. Downhill is a little, be careful. You want to make sure you keep those knees bent and remain those cat-like reflexes. But you can get around with the cleats in this configuration really well, no problem. And it's just a lot safer. It's just this easy fix, and it just works so good. Now, even over here, even everywhere you step, you can see where it's just cleaning up the ice. And usually these will last about, for me, last about 2 winters or so. The screws will fall out or something, but it's easy. It's an easy fix, of course. I forgot to mention the length you want. Just get the 1/2 inchers, just the little ones. That way you don't have to worry about them coming up into the shank or poking you in the foot. Most boots should have plenty of rubber. That 1/2 inch will suit you well. So let's put the wooden shoes on and see if there's any truth in that. I'm not sure what the Dutch know about ice. I don't think it snows there, does it? These are my official Dutch wooden shoes. I was shocked when I went there and I saw guys that were working in the windmills wearing these things. Did you know in some countries they're considered a safety shoe, like a steel toe shoe would be in America? So let's see. So if the Dutch happen to find themselves in a Pacific Northwest ice storm, would they be able to get around? I'd say the verdict is still out as to whether these are ever going to gain traction and popularity in the States. I kind of doubt it. Mrs. W tried to talk me into wearing them home on the airport, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. All right, so already they feel kind of sticky. All right, so let's see here. See if we can do this without wiping out here. Now, you guys are in luck. You just don't get content like this on any other channel on YouTube. This is a first here. Okay, so they're surprisingly they actually work. They're sticky. They're soaking in some water. They're getting wet, but they really do work. I don't know that they're as good as the studded snow boots, but they're not bad. That's amazing, huh? Maybe we need wooden tires. Wooden tires. I don't know how well that would go over. Hey, let me show you the Hakkapeliitas, the best snow tires, winter tires in the world. If you're buying them for your vehicle, I would highly recommend them. Everyone around here has been running them. It's almost like cheating. It almost gives you a false sense of security when you're on icy roads, because you just don't know it. Perfect example. So the van is 2-wheel drive. Brian and I were heading down to firefighting training, and he's got a 4-wheel drive Toyota that just had kind of an aggressive mud tire on it. He went around a corner and lost the whole rear end and spun out, and he was in 4-wheel drive, and I was I saw him behind me. I was right in front of him, and I just railed right through there. I didn't even know it was slippery running these Hakkapeliitas. So let me show them to you. These are the winter tires you want if you have a light truck. These are Nokian. Nokian is the company. Hakkapeliitta, these are LT. So I'm running on the van a 225/75 R16. This is a 10-ply tire here. So if you have anything that's 3/4 ton or 1 ton, that's the tire you're going to want. They make them different models for passenger cars and all of that, but it has a rubber compound that is incredible. I get the studded ones. And the nice thing about it is, you know, I've had studs done at local companies here where they just stud the tires, and they use just as a interesting side note, if you want studs that last a long time, the only state I think is legal to run hardened steel studs is Alaska. So I have some. Of course, I wouldn't do this myself, but it's highly illegal. But I do know some guys locally here that order the studs from Alaska tire dealers, have them sent down here, the blanks, and then have them installed in their tires, and they last a lot longer. But the nice thing about the Hakkapeliitta studs is they're almost like pins that come up, and when they put these in, they put them in the factory and they balance the tire with them. So it's a premium tire, a really high-end quality tire that balances well, and they're a lot less noisy. They don't stick up so far as some of the other ones, and they wear better because the diameter of the stud is the same for quite a ways up. So as the tire wears down, you still get that sharpness, rather than on, you know, some studs, they're kind of shaped like a pyramid, and then after 1 or 2 seasons, they're basically flat round metal discs on there, and they actually make traction worse. So these are incredible tires. Probably the best you're going to get. Well, of course, where are they made? What did I say? The Finns? The Finns wouldn't know anything about driving in cold weather, would they? All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video. I don't know what it is about adverse weather, but I always enjoy it. So I've got a lot of positive response from you guys who have enjoyed me bringing back kind of little conversations in the end cards. I guess it's like kind of a bonus. You get a little mini podcast as well as as a video. But I wanted to share something with you. This is a story that I got firsthand from an acquaintance of mine years ago. I've told it before, but it's been some time. But the reason why I'm sharing it with you today because I experienced it in real life myself yesterday. So this guy that was a friend of mine, so he was a big high-powered real estate agent, really successful. And he was working from his home. And he was getting ready to show a very wealthy guy that was a multimillionaire him a piece of vacation property. It was like a ranch up in northern Montana. And so this millionaire had flown in from some city and drove all the way up to my friend's house to jump into his car and to go see this huge ranch. Well, my friend is a devout Christian and kind of a lay minister. His wife was a stay-at-home mother. They raised their kids from home, and he ran his real estate business. So this guy came over, and they jumped in front of his truck, and they were getting ready to head out. This was really a big deal, would have been a tremendous commission for him. Well, he started his truck, and he looked out the front window and saw all of the laundry hanging on a clothesline that his wife had put up, and had been up there, and it was ready to come down. And he told me, he said, the Holy Ghost spoke to me and said, Jim, I want you to take that laundry down, put it in a basket, and take it in and give it to your wife. And he had this tremendous struggle within, of course, we as men, and especially those of us who are breadwinners, was thinking, are you joking? That's not my job. Why would I've got this important man sitting in my truck. Why would I do this? And why would I make him wait and go and do this meaningless or this insignificant task? That's where pride comes in, right? I'm too important to do such things. That's my wife's work. That's what he was telling me. That was the first thing that came into his mind. He said the Holy Ghost had really pressed on him. He was like, Jim, I want you to do this. So Jim turned the ignition off, got out, and started putting the clothing in the basket, taking it off one piece at a time. And here this important guy is sitting in the cab of his truck watching this. So Jim does this, walks in, takes a couple minutes, takes the laundry, puts it in the house, gets back in the truck. Of course, the guy turns and looks at him and says, what are you doing? Why did you just do that? And he said, he goes, I didn't know what to say. I was really conflicted. So I just decided to tell him the truth. I said, well, God told me to. Well, this guy came unglued. He wanted nothing to do with Christianity, and was very offended and just laid into Jim at the time, and Jim was really wondering if he had done the right thing. So anyway, they went and through Jim didn't think anything of it. The conversation never came up again. The guy actually said, "Don't ever talk about Christianity to me again. I'm not interested in it. I don't want it." And Jim just said, "Okay, that's fine." But the point of it is that years later, this same man that was in the car that was so against hearing anything about Christianity called Jim on the phone in the middle of the night. It was maybe 5 or 6 years later, and said, "Jim, I want you to pray for my family. My wife just had a little boy, and he's dying in the hospital." And because of this, that one act that Jim had performed with the clothesline, that this man ultimately accepted Christ in his life. So, the interesting thing about it is had Jim, he had a real struggle with that decision, and had he not done that, had he thought that he would have been too important and pushed the urging of God aside and not perform that simple task, which he didn't understand at the time, it may have been that this man would never have been saved. But God knew that this would make an impression on him, and God knew what was going to come down the road, and that this was a tool that he used to reach this wealthy man. It was an incredible story. I'm going long. Should I tell you my side of it? I'll tell you what. I'll do it on the next video. I don't want this video to go too much longer, but I had a similar experience as Jim, my friend Jim, did. that I'll share with you next time. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys have a good day. It's Sabbath is coming. It's Friday. Friday. What time is it here? 1 o'clock. It's the only thing that I can. One thing that I always want to encourage you to do is whatever day you take a day a week off. And we always talk about it, but to make it special. And our family's getting ready. It's always so nice on Fridays. Mrs. W is in cooking and preparing the food, and always does a nice meal. And Jack looks forward to it and knows that there won't be any chores, and it's just a wonderful thing. So I encourage you to do that. And if you're religious or not, doesn't make any difference. Just take a day off and do it. It'll be a blessing for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.